So yeah, my name's Kelly and I'm the mobile app product manager at Domino's Pizza, and I've been at Domino's about 3 years now, and I look after their new mobile app. And we launched this year, and I think we were near enough 100% live by June. And me and the team at Apadmi have worked on this new mobile app, and we have near enough built it from our kitchen tables because we started working with each other just before lockdown happened. So lots of changes and lots of innovations just generally within the team during that period. And today I'm just going to take you through some of my learnings really of launching a new mobile app on top of an already highly successful ordering channel. But first, I just want to tell you a little bit about Domino's Pizza. So last year we turned over 1.3 billion and we sold over 100 million pizzas, which still blows my mind to this day that many people want to eat pizza just in the UK and Ireland. And within our business, I'm so proud to work for Domino's, and the head office support office is actually down in Milton Keynes. I know my accent's a little bit deceiving, but that's where I live down there. And we have the supply chain right next to the head office. And I absolutely love seeing our trucks and our vans driving around. And I wave at them when they go past. And you must think, who is that nutter in the VW Golf there? But then when I do drive home to Liverpool, actually, we do have another supply chain in Warrington, which many of you might have seen. And I love that as well, seeing our logo and our brand, and I give them a little wave too. Not that anyone can see me through the window. But in Domino's, we think it's really important to understand the end-to-end experience, from what's happening in the supply chains, what's happening with our drivers, what's happening in store, what's happening on our digital storefront. So it's what you were saying before, Ian, around the supply chain. Like this morning, we had our head of our operations director talking about some of the things happening there, just so we can all think about how to optimize every single little bit of that journey, whether it's making the dough, getting the dough out, preparing the pizza, the average delivery time going out, or what that digital storefront looks like. So actually, when we did start working with Apadmi, and by the way, I do love Apadmi, but this isn't just an Apadmi love fest, but they obviously helped us to build our mobile app. But we took them to the Luton Domino's store, which was the first Domino's store in the UK, just so they could see all the operations and what happens behind the scenes, so that when we use the language, the make line, everyone knows what we're talking about. And just so you know, the make line's where the pizzas actually go down. So the order will come in on the screen, and then there'll be the team lined up, and then someone will put the cheese sauce on with the spoodle. A spoodle is a special spoon that's used within the stores to put the sauce on, then put the cheese on, then put the toppings on, just so you can understand the complexity when someone's building an order and they're adding mushrooms and they're taking off chorizo and they're changing the sauce and they're changing the cheese, that we all understand in digital and other areas of the business what impact UI and UX can have upon that make line. I also took part in something called Pizza Prep School, which obviously most of this is pre-COVID, of course. But Pizza Prep School was a 2-day course where you learn how to make majority of the products in a test Domino's kitchen. Then I had to do 2 dinner services and a lunch service, and my God, I don't think I've ever worked so hard in all my life, stretching the dough out and just learning all the systems and processes. And what Phil was saying before, going out and visiting stores and going in the back and just speaking to people and speaking to other people in the business just has such a benefit on you building digital products. Then this is my local delivery driver as well. So when we were doing the alpha and beta testing for the mobile app, he come and I rang the store after I'd ordered, just because I wanted to tell them, because I was so excited that they had the first new order on the new Domino's app. And then when he turned up, I put my little Domino's hat on and ran down and had the chat with him outside. And again, I think he thought I was an absolute nutter as well, but I'm just so excited about selling pizza, honestly. Then this has got no relevance to anything, but I just thought you'd like to see the dog dressed up in the Domino's gear. To be honest with you, one of my friends sent me that. She'd been out to visit one of our franchisees, and yeah, she sent me a picture of the Domino's. That wasn't in the store, by the way, before anyone mentions it. But no, very proud, and our store teams are amazing. We've got fantastic franchisee partners who run the majority of our stores across the UK. So I would encourage anyone to get out and just learn more about how your business operates, not just what you're trying to sell. The next slide, if it'll go to the next one. Before I do move on, just want to say, obviously chatting to Phil this week on LinkedIn, and I did go down to the new look in Milton Keynes and had a little swoop around, bought a nice skirt from the autumn winter range. And also I downloaded their app as well, so I've been looking at all your push notifications and stuff this week. I do have a massive love for Co-op. So I lived in Oxford before I lived in Milton Keynes, and my local store was a Co-op, and our store actually made BuzzFeed because the comments book in the store was just hilarious. It was really, really, really funny. I know you probably can't see that, but that says Carol's back. Now, Carol was one of the team members in the co-op, and Carol had to go and have an operation. And my God, was there one person in Oxford that didn't know that Carol was going for this operation? But it was just like a little community hub. I absolutely loved the store. And they had a refit, and I went down and like Instagram live the refit, and oh, it was brilliant. So yeah, I've got a lot of love for co-op and for New Look too. Then this is what my mobile phone looks like. I am a nightmare to order a takeaway with. So I order probably once a week maybe on one of the other aggregators or one of the other pizza brands, which shall not be named. But I love taking screenshots. I love doing videos of what's happening, just to look at all the amazing things that are happening out in the market, and not just in the takeaway market, but you know, things like Moneybox or Free Trade, or all these amazing apps that are popping up to get inspiration from. But it can be quite annoying for the people I'm ordering food with, because they're like, Kel, I just want to like get the Nando's. Can you stop taking screenshots? But that's what my phone looks like. So this year we launched a new mobile app, and working with the team at Apadmi, and then also an internal team, which I'll tell you a little bit more about in a moment. And we had a huge marketing campaign surrounding the launch. If it'll go to the next slide. So you might have seen our TV advert, which promoted a new feature that we had in the mobile app called group ordering. So we did some insight work around what our customers potentially might expect, like post lockdown, and having shared experiences and bringing people together through the food that they love really sung out in that work. And that's where the idea and the thought around group ordering come together, is that pizza is a shared thing. You know, you order a couple of pizzas, you can all get a slice, you can all talk over it. You're not just ordering one meal by yourself. But that's one of the innovations that we did put in the new mobile app this year. We also had lots of out-of-home advertising promoting the new mobile apps. This was outside Piccadilly Station, which I was fuming because I come home with my Bertie and thought, oh, I'll nip over to Manchester to go and see the advert, because our tester in Apadmi, Educate Phil, sent me the picture, and went to the Science and Industry Museum, thought I'll nip over to Piccadilly, thought I'll get this picture like that outside, and it'd gone, hadn't it, because we would only pay for like the week or the two of advertising, so week there. We also got features on the App Store and the Play Store. We had lots of digital paid activity as well, and it really was a like 360 campaign within Domino's. There's one team that didn't touch that mobile app going out the door. So next up, I'm going to talk about team, and similar to what the people from Co-op were talking about earlier, is having trust within who you're working with. And I'd say some tips would be, before you do start a project or want to create something new, just look at the skills audit across your organisation or who you're working with. Have you got the team that you need to be able to deliver? So I am very lucky to work with the team at Apadmi, but I also work with an internal team called the Sky Commanders. So all of our Scrum teams and Domino's have like 70s-ish TV show names. So we're called the A team, they're called Sky Commanders. But bringing together an internal team that had huge Domino's knowledge with Apadmi's mobile magic was just brilliant to work with. But I also identified that I didn't have some of the skills as the app product manager to bring everything out in the market. And one of them was the implementation of our analytics work. Now, when I've worked in other places, I've come in and I might have changed things or analyze things, but actually building it up from scratch and looking what you need to measure and how you need to measure it, I just needed a little bit more help. And so I was able to get a business analyst to come in and help me with that piece of work. So just make sure that what you're trying to achieve, there's actually enough skills in the business to be able to do that. And just to mention, this is Matt Moran, who's product owner in my team. This is Mike, who was the business analyst who came in to come and help me. That's Nicola, who's our UX UI lead, so she looks over across the app and the web. Then there's Jazz, who's head of product, who's my boss, which during the app rollout, I think me and him had many drinks on a Thursday, 6 o'clock, but me like probably crying halfway through. Alan, who's our delivery manager, and then Clive, who's our digital director. And so next point is make sure your stakeholders are engaged with what you're doing, who's your senior sponsor, and make sure they're a part of that journey. And similar to what you were showing before, Phil, with the like squiggly line and then the nice line, Clive's been an amazing director and a part of this project, and he was there when we were in the squiggly line bit to, you know, when we were in the straight line bit as well. Next slide, it'll go on. So we use Miro, and I'm sure many people in this room use Miro or used to be real-time board. And so just a bit of a tip in terms of all, you know, working from home and hybrid work, and it's been a real great tool for collaboration across the business. And for anyone who hasn't used Miro, it's an online whiteboard or like post-it notes type of thing, and you can update it in real time and multiple people can be on the same board. So we use this within the business to run workshops across other teams, getting infrastructure, architecture, security, comms, everyone involved and everyone thinking about the app. And also just setting ourselves mini goals. So getting the app live to 100% of customers was never the goal. Getting enough people recruited for alpha, getting enough people recruited for beta, getting the app, the first live order, had to put all of these little mini wins in place to keep ourselves going. This workshop that we did was about the road to rollout. So what was all the things that, sorry, I'm waiting to see whether it clicks, but then it doesn't click. Here we go. All the things that we need to do to try and get into the live environments, and similar to what the other speakers have said today, Domino's has got many, many, many systems behind the scenes that I'm not ultimately responsible for, but I need to think about the impacts on them, as well as IT service desk and all of these other places. So we looked at what steps will it take for us to get into live, and also what are all the things that could go wrong, or as we like to call doomsday. Like, what would happen if everything crashed and everything went down? What are all the things in place that we need to do or think about? Next up, analytics. So make sure you know your apples from your pears and question why things attract, how things attract. Because we moved to use Firebase with the new mobile app, and then put that data into Data Studio. And the top graph is one of the examples that we had, which is comparing the old app to the new app. So we were quite lucky that we did have a lot of data and touch points from our old app to compare how successful the new app was. And just say that big dip is where we turned the old app off. That wasn't like sales going through the floor there. But yeah, we had them graphs there just to compare through. But one of the difference with using Firebase actually is that Google are really pushing you to use users within a lot of your calculations and measurements. However, in Domino's, we do use sessions for a lot of our calculations and measurements. So not that anything's right or wrong, but we just had to pivot a little bit the way of our thinking. Then also we put these like confidence bands around some of our key metrics. And so if something was consistently above or below these confidence bands, just was a bit of food for thought. Like, do we need to dig into something a little bit more here too? And then last little thing to mention on analytics is just document everything that you do, why you've done it, why the decisions were made, and make sure that's accessible to many, many people across the business. So we use something called Confluence to do that, which I didn't know if any other products people use Confluence. But to me, it's made a really useful post live, going back to see why certain decisions were made. Then how it started and how it's going. So that was me, pre-COVID, just loving life, Domino's head office with my colleagues. We were about to go to the corporate games to represent Domino's. We were in the Dragon Boat racing team. Life was great, working on the app. Obviously, COVID hit, and then this was probably like mid-alpha and beta, and I was just absolutely knackered. Like, I've never worked so hard. This was, I think, probably Friday, 3 o'clock. I was having a pot noodle. I know that's disgusting, but it was. And then someone brought me some like chicken nuggets. Oh no, it's gone off the picture. There we go. And if you can see, there's also a bag of cheesy balls underneath the table there. I also drink usually about 5 or 6 cans of Diet Coke today. I'm an absolute Diet Coke fiend, and I drank so much Diet Coke during the app rollout. But just one little, I don't know if it's a tip or not, but just make sure you take some time for yourself during big rollouts, or if you guys are launching an agency or any big projects that you take part in. And if any of my colleagues are watching, I'm the worst one for taking this advice, but I do use the app Headspace. I don't know if any of you use it, which is a mindfulness app, and I have also just completed a 2-month course with Oxford Mindfulness Centre as well. And I think it's really important to just take a step back sometimes, because you're just so in the throes. And I think of that app like my business. I feel like I'm the CEO of that app, and I will do absolutely anything to make it work. But you do sometimes just have to take a little bit of a step back so you don't burn out. Then this was one of our first reviews that we got as we were starting to roll out the mobile app. So the app keeps crashing. If you want my money, then at least make a working app, for fuck's sake. And so these are some of the other reviews that we got too. And I'm just going to press these now because I know they're going to take forever to come in, so you can read them. But obviously you've got your qualitative data, your analytics set up, but make sure you've got the customer voice always coming through, whether that's through user testing. We use usertesting.com before something even gets into development stages. But also what's getting said on the app stores or other customer service points too. And obviously when I first read that, after not sleeping for probably about 6 months, it wasn't the best one to read, but you're never going to deliver digital products with potentially some crashes or issues within the back. And if you think you can, well, I think you've fooled. But when I actually did take a step back and look at the feedback over the day, over the week, over the month, we were actually being rated more highly than the previous app. So it can be really hard when you just get one little bit comment or one little bit of feedback and you think it's gonna set you back, but you should also put in place things to help monitor that feedback. So one of the things that we've done in Domino's, we'll go to the next slide, is we use a tool called App Follow. And we've set up loads of tagging and tools in the back to see what people are saying, so we can get a real sense of what people are talking about on the app stores, whether that's deals, discounts, crashes, payment issues, to make sure that we're keeping on top of some of these more negative comments and positive comments coming in. We also added the in-app review API into our our Android app, which we didn't have before. And our amount of reviews and ratings has just gone absolutely through the roof, as you can see. So we've now just got an absolute wealth of customer information and customer comments coming through, and which we hope will help us be more bottom-up led in our approach to our roadmap. And then we've also started responding and listening to customers on the app stores too, whether they're having a great experience, like this person with our group ordering feature, or someone who isn't having such a great experience. And if you can't use a tool like App Follow on the Play Store and on the App Store, you can go and see most of this information yourself. And actually the Play Store, you can download the spreadsheet and search through the topics too as well. Then during the alpha, beta and the rollout, we had a group of customers also take part, as well as family, friends, franchisees and on all of the business, and testing the mobile app. And for this, we used a tool called D-Scout. And we had about 9 tasks that the customers had to complete, from doing a full order to building a deal to applying a discount. And then when we were getting feedback from the wider business and from the customers, we were then making changes and iterations and then putting these back out onto D-Scout with new releases to our customers to test before we then went live. And then, yeah, these are just some of the comments that were said during the alpha and beta feedback from our customers. Then I did have a video, but it hasn't played. Oh well. And then next up, so during alpha and beta, we had to come up with a good way of getting feedback, because there was a lot of people that we wanted to engage in this process. And this is actually Matt and James, who are my lead developers at Apadmi. So we did all actually Skype in to do the first real live order, which was lovely. I think James actually squealed when I went through. And then that's one of my colleagues' daughters as well. So we started them off young in Domino's. And then, yeah, Barry, who was our delivery driver, and there's Gary P there as well, who orders loads of Domino's pizzas. But we used a tool called Instabook to get the feedback from our alpha and beta users. And with Instabook, you can basically take a screenshot, or you can swipe the screen, and then a little pop-up comes up and you can leave improvements or bug comments. But then on the back end of Instabook, we had automatic tags set up. So people were mentioning about payments or about deals or about discounts, or just, general UI issues that they were easily tagged up for us to look through. As you can see, I'm a fan of anything that's automated and that makes your life easier. And it really, really helped during the process too, because Instabook also sent through things like operating system, which phone they were on, which area of the app they were in. Things that if you're not a tester or if you're not a developer, you might think to say, oh, I was on, iOS 13 and on this phone, and it really, really helped us diagnose those things a bit quicker. Again, if you can't use a tool like Instabook, just have a think about, why you're asking for feedback, how people are giving you that feedback, and how are you going to then collate and analyse that feedback. And I think it also really helps to take the person away from the feedback, because I didn't want people to feel like they couldn't say what they thought, because they've got me and I am quite a forceful character sometimes, to not give me the best feedback too. And then group ordering. So for anyone who doesn't know what group ordering is, it's a feature in our mobile app where you can set up an order, send it around to your family and friends that add the products that they want. Then you can then check out with your Domino's order. And we had many, many iterations of this, and it's probably going to take me about 2 hours to click all these now. Sorry. There we go. Many, many iterations of what that could have been, and using usertesting.com to get feedback, doing different prototypes, wireframes, and I'd say one other tip is just the earlier that you can get developers, testers, designers and product people talking together, the better your product's going to be in the long term. So we do use a three amigos approach in Domino's to try and bring all of them parties together to make your product as strong as it can be. And we're going through that at the moment, listening to customer feedback on group ordering to try and iterate it. But that's where the magic happens, when people just start talking, because something I think might be dead complicated. Apadmi are like, no, we can do that. So yeah, just start them conversations as early as possible. And then final slide, if it'll get through. So yeah, I don't know why everything said got one there. There was like a hierarchy there, but yeah, just get to know your business end to end as much as possible. Be obsessed with your sector. Do a bit of a skills audit before you start on a project. Have you got everything that you need to deliver that? Stakeholder engagement, and make sure there's a bit of shared responsibility around the business. It isn't just on you as the product team to deliver everything. Know your apples from your pears with analytics, what you track and why you track it and how it's tracked. Get some rest. Don't drink too much wine, which is probably what I did. Match the quantitative data to the qualitative data. Tell a story and bring the customer's voice through. And having all these customer videos when I was doing presentations for our stakeholders or our UKLT really helped to shape and tell the narrative. Find all sources of customer feedback and read them, whether that is through the App Store or other means. It'll make you a better employee. It'll make you a better product manager. Have a good process in place for feedback. Use the three amigos approach, or four if you're like me, and bring the designer in a little bit earlier. And then eat more pizza and have more fun, which is what we say within Domino's too. So I hope that's been useful. It's been lovely as well to be out and about again today. Thank you.